Alright, match number 5. Hoping to play a little bit better than in match number 4. We're on the play. Turn 1 Denizen, turn 2 Martial, attack for 3, turn 4 Raider. Yeah, okay, this is fine. 4-lane hands are not fun. You always want 2 or 3, but I think I'll keep this one. The problem with going down to 6 is then you're saying you want to try to get more spells, which means you have to draw exactly 2 lands and 4 spells to get rewarded. Or I guess 1 and 5, but on the play 1 and 5 is a little bit less desirable anyway. It's not definitely better than 4 and 3. Big question is whether I'm going to be paying Echo on this Mog War Marshal or not. If I'm playing against Control, I might want to play it just because it's better against Edict effects to make them move through as many creatures as possible. We'll see what they do on their turn. I can still play my Mog Raider even if I pay the Echo, so I probably will pay the Echo. Alright, here's the Echo. Drew a mountain. Okay. Drawing 2 mountains after you already had 4 mountains in your opener is not a good recipe for success. Looks like our opponent's counter... Okay, they're going to Doomblade this. Doing it before the Raider resolves, so I can't sacrifice it for an extra damage this turn. Alright, no spells left. Let's see what they can do. Aqueduct. Picking up Island. Mog War Marshal. Play this pre-combat. In case I have a reason to sacrifice things. Well, now I'm going to lose for sure to an Evenkar's Justice since they have an untapped land in hand. But I will not lose otherwise. I don't believe. Even if they have multiple blockers, I think I'll be able to get around them all with the Mog Raider. Well, they didn't have Evenkar's Justice. Good. Once again, I'm paying the Echo. Since if they draw Evenkar's Justice later, I can at least have the 2 goblins coming off of the War Marshals as a backup plan. Additionally, I guess I have this, as long as they don't kill this before they Evenkar's Justice, I'm fine. So they could have had the Evenkar's Justice, be waiting to kill the Mog Raider first. And that way I can't, move some creatures, sacrifice some creatures to make other creatures survive and get to 3 toughness so they don't die to the Evenkar's Justice. Mystical Teachings, it looks like. Yep. Agony Warp. What's the black spell that kills 2 things with the same name? Wail of the Nim will also get me. Good for them having that as a 1-of. 1 damage to each creature and each player. Also gaining 2 off their Radiance Fountain. I might still have lethal on board if that's the only thing they can cast this turn cycle, though. Okay, Evenkar's Justice as well. So let's see what I can make survive. If I sacrifice the Mog War Marshals, that's 4 total sacrifices. So I can go 2 on Raider, 1 on Cohort, 1 on Goblin, and then sacrifice another Goblin for Goblin. So I can keep Raider, Cohort, and Goblin, keep half my creatures. If I try to keep the War Marshals around, that requires 2 apiece, so I'd have to go sacrifice, 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 sacrifice just to keep these. Which means that I don't get to keep... Which means I keep 2 power instead of 4 power on the board. But it does mean I'm better against Wail than him, because after they wail, I still get 2 tokens left over. I think I'd rather keep 4 power on the board, though, so I'm gonna do that. This does require me to draw a creature to be really good, because otherwise the Goblin Cohort can't attack, and I can only attack for 2 anyway, but that's what I'm going to try for. Alright, that's 2 3/3s. And I can save 1 more. Target this, sacrifice this. Target this, sacrifice this. Now even next turn Whale of the Nim isn't that bad because Goblin Cohort naturally survives it, and I can sacrifice 1 token to keep the Raiders around. So they're going to need more than just the Whale. They need like another kill spell or an Agony Warp or something. Oh, well, we drew a land. Why so many lands? Why? I had 4 lands in this opener. I drew 3 in 5 draw steps. It doesn't happen. Not with 18 lands in your deck. It just doesn't happen. Normally I don't complain about variance, but this seems to be consistent across all my games. I keep on getting flooded, which is unfortunate. And this is another Evan-Card's Justice. I probably can't win. Okay, there's a Doomblade. And now they're going to Whale of the Nim in response to me sacrificing this. No? Okay. They'll probably Whale on my turn, maybe? Alright. I'm going to do this before casting this because they can just do the Whale with this on the stack if they want to. Alright, no, they're taking 2. Indicating maybe they have an Evan-Card's Justice. Alright, here's the Whale now. Save this, sacrifice that. Finally get this off my screen because they finally cast it. Okay. Well, they're dead to me casting a creature spell, so they need to gain some life or have some more removal. Mystical Teachings, okay. Agony Warp would be good here. Diabolic Edict would be good here. They have a lot of things that are good here. Disfigure, okay. Okay. Don't think this will be relevant because they could just disfigure that in response if they had another one, but I'll pump it up anyway. Alright, dead to a Goblin Bushwhacker if they don't have a 1-mana instant speed card. Come on, Goblin Bushwhacker. I play 4 of you for a reason. No more mountains. Come on, go. Oh my gosh. Another mountain. You know what also would have been fine here is Lightning Bolt, Fire Blast. Goblin Matron for Tarfire would have also been lethal. Assuming they don't have like another Disfigure. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. 7 draw steps. 4 mountains. Okay, yeah, the odds of drawing that many mountains, I just checked, 4 or more, in 7 draw steps, with 14 left in your 53 cards, is about 7%. So it's not completely ridiculous. 7% isn't super, super low, but it is still quite low. Like, I should not have drawn this many. But now they get to untap, they get to evoke a Mole Drifter, go find a counter spell, or find like a second counter spell if they already have one, and once they have counter spell up, it becomes a lot harder to win this game. Additionally, as soon as they hit one more Dismal Backwater or Radiant Fountain, they don't die to a Lightning Bolt anymore, which would be annoying. Mortuary Mire, let's see if they target it and put it back on top. Looks like they did, in fact, put it back on top. Yeah, it's gone. Death Spark. Okay. It doesn't do anything. Play my land anyway. In case I need a Goblin Matron, Goblin Bushwhacker turn. Attack for 6. Crypt Incursion. Oh, just what I wanted to see. Crypt Incursion. They go back up to 18. Okay, well, that's game over. They get to resolve Mole Drifter, pay full price so they can actually keep it this time, go up to 20. Our opponent is playing very well. It's just we're also drawing very poorly, so I'm not complaining about, you know, the fact that their spells are good because they're setting things up nicely. They have the Mystical Teachings to go find what they need. But it would be nice to draw more spells. I could have Death Sparked first so I could pay to get it back, but it's not relevant. Nothing is relevant right now. Okay. I will concede. There was a chance maybe one more turn if I went Goblin Matron, Bushwhacker, attack for 6, trade, and then they had no follow-ups whatsoever. I could have potentially got back into it, but they're going to have counter magic up for the rest of the game now. And they're going to just beat me to death with this Muldrifter, so. Let's go to sideboarding. Alright, so as in the first match, Pyroblast is the only thing we really care about. Deathspark doesn't do enough. Against Muldrifters, it is nice to have Sparksmiths and Intimidator Initiates, but we probably don't need all of them. And Heel Cutter, so let's make our last 3 cuts out of these 6 cards. Let's go like this. I want to keep the most aggressive cards and the cheapest cards that get out from under counter magic, so. And we will submit. Get to be on the play. And this is a good hand. Cohort first. Before Denizen. I still am pretty sure that that's usually the correct choice, is Cohort before Denizen, but I always think about it a little bit because I feel like there could be certain hands where I would want to do it differently. I don't need to resolve Sparksmith early. They're not going to have a creature next turn unless they somehow have Delver of Secrets, and we just didn't see any of them, but they don't look like a Delver of Secrets deck. Preordain. They go bottom and top. And they disfigure our 1/1. Alright, so I'm going to play Sparksmith, plan on bolting the face, and save the Bushwhacker for another Cohort Conscript activation next turn. If they have absolutely nothing here, I can take them to 1. I can bolt them to 11 and then attack for 3, 3, 2, and 2 with the kicked Bushwhacker. And that's assuming I don't even draw a 1-drop creature. If I draw a 1-drop creature, they're just dead. We'll start with this. And they counterspell it, okay. Kick this Bushwhacker. Oh my goodness, did I just make a misplay? No, I didn't. I was wondering whether I should have actually played the other Goblin Bushwhacker first, so I could have 6 creatures, but that's not lethal. I don't believe. Another 2 power. No, that would have only taken them to 2. Now if they try to Evenkar's Justice here, they're dead to the other Goblin Bushwhacker. They wouldn't have been able to cast an Evenkar's Justice if I had done this first, because they'd be at 2 life right now, but I'd rather save this in hand for if they just had like a mediocre turn this turn, like 2 removal spells or like an Agony Warp next turn held up. Removal spell plus Agony Warp, I think the 2 different Bushwhacker kicks would be more effective than oh, we drew a Fire Blast to add insult to injury. Okay, that was a nice quick game. Dead on turn 5, and we get to try again. I also didn't bring in the Pristine Talisman, I just realized. Or I didn't bring in the Smash the Smithereens for their Pristine Talisman, but they haven't shown us one yet. Not all the blue-black builds have one. I think most usually play 1. Alright, so only in 1 lander can I keep it. Turn 1 Conscripts, turn 2 Initiate. Lots of Burn. Burn is not good against control. We want creatures. Since Burn is only 1-time damage and creatures are repeatable damage. I think this is still a fine hand though. I need to draw lands to be able to get to Matron, but I also need to draw creatures simultaneously to be able to keep attacking with Conscript, so maybe it's not that good. Yeah, actually I think I need to mulligan this. If I just draw straight Running Mountains, then I only get to attack with Conscripts once. I have to skip it on turn 2. Or when I have... Yeah, I have to skip it on turn 3. Unless I just want to play Matron without knowing what I want yet. And if I don't draw running lands, if I draw like 2-drop creatures, it's very bad. Alright, this hand is a little bit better. Sparksmith can go to the bottom. I'd rather have that as a later game card. If at all. Alright, Cohort is a good draw. Get to cast 2 things next turn, followed by either Bushwhacker or Matron, depending on how the game goes. Assuming they have Mana Leak or similar, Which would I rather get countered? The Intimidator Initiate, so I'll do that first. False Summoning, okay. Slitter. Hopefully hit a land next turn so I can play Matron. I'd rather have 4 creatures out when I Bushwhacker than just 3. Preordain goes bottom top. Second Preordain goes bottom bottom. Mog Conscripts. So I can play Conscripts and hold up in Bolt. I think that's better than playing Bushwhacker yet. Bushwhacker is better if you can wait till you have as many creatures as possible. They hit an island, which is notably not a second black source for Evankar's Justice, which is nice. Pristine Talisman does come down, which we have no removal for, so we have to race it. And a Tragic Slip are Goblin Sledder. What to do here? So I can save it if I sacrifice a 2/2. I don't think it's going to be better than a 2/2 this game, though. I don't have any Mog War Marshal in hand. I probably just want the higher power creatures. So I think I'm going to let this happen. Bolt to face for mana efficiency. Another Conscript, so do I wait another turn on Bushwhacker? Or do I just get in for 6 here? I think I have to do it now while they're tapped out. Actually, it's not 6, it's 8. Yeah, this is definitely with a play. Once they tap Talisman, they go to 9, which means they're dead in 2 attacks, even after tapping Talisman twice. So this forces them to do something, and I really wanted that Bushwhacker to resolve. Seagate Oracle, okay. Alright, they hit their second black source, but it's tapped. They pick up Radiant Fountain, so they're getting 3 life next turn by playing that and tapping Talisman, so that's important to keep in mind. And they're also hitting me with Chainer's Edict. Okay, I'll get rid of the 1/1. Alright, I'm going to play Matron right now. And I'm going to go get the only thing that makes a difference, which is Goblin Bushwhacker. Intimidator Initiate has a very small mark in favor of it, as does Mog War Marshal or Tower Fire or something like that, but Bushwhacker is just much more explosive, and as long as they can't wrath the board with an Evankar's Justice, it's going to be much better than anything else. And if they do wrath the board with an Evankar's Justice, those other types of cards are not going to help me come back. I mean, they'll help me come back, but they won't be enough to help me come back, most likely. Next turn I can play 1-drop plus kick this Bushwhacker, so they have to have a counterspell for that. Alright. They had the Evankar's Justice, they fall to 6. Radiant Fountain back up to 8. Alright. I can't afford to just play the Bushwhacker yet. I only get in 2 or 3 points of damage, which is not enough. I'll play both of those, hope to draw another 1-drop creature, and hope that they have neither another Evankar's Justice nor a counterspell for the Bushwhacker. Buyback Evankar's Justice, it looks like. Why else would they be tapping 7? Oh no, they're flashing back a Chainer's Edict. Okay, yeah, that makes sense too. Alright, show me the 1-drop creature so that I can afford to just throw this Bushwhacker into the Seagate Oracle. Mog War Marshal. Okay. I can take that. It's nice with the Mog War Marshal that I don't actually have to pay the echo cost. in order to maximize Bushwhacker since it gives haste. So the token that comes off of the War Marshal can attack just as easily as the War Marshal itself. So if I'm trying to close out the game quickly, which I am because this Pristine Talisman is getting worse every single turn, then I could just not pay the Echo and hope to draw a 1-drop creature. Alright, there's the 1-drop creature, and it's a Mog Raider, which is great. So if they have no counter spells and no removal here, I'm pretty sure this is lethal. I just sacrifice whatever the Seagate Oracle blocks. Maybe not lethal, it's close. But it looks like they do have a counter spell or removal spell because they are about to tap something. Doomblade, this guy, okay. So what do I want to pump up? This is already going to be a 3/2, so I'll pump up Random Goblin. Alright, no more removal, please. Take 8 if they want to kill one of the 2/1s. Oh, but they have a Diabolic Edict as well. So now they take 6 or 5, depending on what they block. Alright, this makes sense. They go up to 5 again with the Pristine Talisman, so Fire Blast alone is not going to do it. Preordain goes top, which we really didn't want to see. Oh, it's the second Pristine Talisman. Ouch. And Dismal Backwater, so they're at effective 7. Oh yeah, this is very bad. Alright, well, good news is pretty soon we can concede. Because the 2 life a turn is going to get out of reach very quickly. Crypt Incursion, yep, alright, well, that's game. Too bad. So sad. Let's see what our opponent's casting, just for the fun of it. Mole Drifter. Alright, well, that's the match. We went 1-4 overall. Should have gone 2-3, except for my missing onboard lethal in game 4 while my opponent was tapped out, so apologies for that once again. Overall, I really do like this deck, and although I hate just to blame variance, if you watch most of my videos, you will see that I'm not a big complainer. Whenever I lose, I generally lose with grace. Maybe not in Commander Clash. Commander Clash I tend to complain too much, but at least in Pauper and other 1v1 games. But we did seem to draw a lot more mountains than we should have been drawing. Got flooded a couple too many times. In general, I still like this deck a lot. Every time I have to face it, it definitely puts the fear into me. It's a very aggressive deck that can win very quickly. And if your opponent doesn't deploy very good blockers or have quite a lot of removal, it can win the game very, very quickly, as we saw in some of the games. Anyway, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want to see more. During the next Playing Pauper in 2 weeks, we will be playing Is It Drake unless it gets banned. So as of the time I'm recording this, it's the day before the ban announcement, so I don't actually know yet. If it does not get banned, I'm most likely going to be playing Is It Drake, though, so you can either look forward to not having to play against it anymore if it gets banned, or look forward to getting to see my deck tech if it doesn't. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.